Live in front of your naked, steaming eyes from Bum City, it's Culture Vulture Radio on your Saturday show. How is everybody doing?
What's up? You got Sean Cashman here, having a good time. Saturday night, let's all take time to give a little pour, enjoy yourself. We got one more day to enjoy ourselves before we go back to the work for that shitty fucking grind.
Here's to having a good time
Cheers
all the time.
There you go. Quoting some Kramer.
Hennigan Scotch. It's one of my favorite
man,
fucking
that's a good
episodes
one.
of all time.
I actually just started rewatching some Seinfeld, so I'm bad. So I always get these recommendations to watch this show, and especially Last of Us. That's the one I hear constantly. Everybody tells me to watch, and the only reason I have any connection to that is because of you playing the game constantly. That storyline was fire. It was an excellent storyline in the game, so I can only imagine with Pedro Pascal and everything. It's just great, but. Yeah, but it's, like I said, that being said, I get all the recommendations to watch that, but I'm still stuck on fucking Seinfeld and Full House and things that came out 30 years ago because I'm just,
No, I'm the same way, man. I'm a fucking
yeah.
nostalgia freak like that. I can't get into new shit. I wanted to watch The Last of Us, and then I just hear nothing but episode 3, and I'm like, I don't fucking want to watch that. It had nothing to do with the game. It had nothing to do with, I don't give a shit what obviously two fucking people do, but it had nothing to do with the game. It was a total deviation that was not fucking needed.
Well, I hear it also deviated from the game a lot because your character didn't die in every episode that you were watching. Because you suck at the game.
Yeah, I was good at that game. I beat that game.
I'm just joking. I'm just fucking with you.
It's funny you mentioned video games because I took mom and my mother-in-law out to lunch, and then mom for some reason she's like, you still play video games? And I was like, I don't fucking get to anymore. I really don't. I play Saturday if I'm lucky and Friday night, but Monday through Thursday I don't fucking touch them. And she's like,
Only gets worse. Only gets worse.
I know. And she's like, remember when you used to buy a video game and then by the end of the night you'd beat it? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, why'd you buy video games?
It's funny. You were always good at video games, but James and I, James was better than I was, but I always sucked at video games. I never really, I beat a few games, but I was never good. It took me like Sonic 2. I probably didn't beat that till 2012.
I beat
2015.
Sonic 2 is the first game I ever beat. And I remember I got you and James in from playing catch in the front yard to watch that. And the second game was Medal of Honor 1, and that's 1999.
Well, I had a friend that I watched beat Sonic 2 when I was a kid. It was 4th or 5th grade. It was 95, 96. Dominic Souza, I think was his name. He lived over on Forest, a couple blocks over anyway, but he was like the nerd. Would just slay every Sonic game. He also was a big Lego freak, had all these crazy Lego collections. Everything was built. It was kind of nuts, but I don't know what happened to him, but it was pretty sweet. But I always sucked at video games. Just absolutely terrible.
I'm good at them.
Speaking of being terrible, so I got one thing to bring up.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's a band I've been a huge fan of. They get a very bad rap. I know you like them. We've seen them together live. You too. They just constantly outdo themselves as far as being worse and worse in other people's lives. Nobody really cares for them. So what do? Let's embed ourselves on your cell phone. So you have this permanent album that's on there you can't get off. And then now what else they do? They have a new album of all their old songs redone with different lyrics, different tempos, different chords. So it's all right, that sounds like new songs, but it really is just acoustic Bono and Edge just
jerking each other off.
Pretty much, man. It's pretty bad, and it sucks. I used to really like them, and the younger generation doesn't really care for them, and I understand. I completely understand. I still like their older stuff, 80s, early 90s, but they're just getting further disconnected from anybody. I think it's all Bono's search for that self-ejaculation that he's one day gonna find, and once he does, man, he's gonna explode. It's gonna be like Pompeii. You're gonna find him etched in his house because he just had that ultimate bust.
So I want to fucking jump instantly into the fucking title of the episode being called Derailed. Because this is something that when it happened, I wrote about it on Facebook and I've been sharing the shit out of it on Twitter, and that is the East Palestine train derailment.
Oh,
This is by far the most fucked up shit I've ever seen
most
because
ignored.
most ignored bullshit.
Yep.
Um, the train was carrying, I think
I'm glad you're bringing this up.
it's PVC or vinyl chloride and butyl, whatever. The vinyl chloride in its raw form like that is one of the worst carcinogens known to man. There are people who have been exposed to it, and within a year, they have a terminal cancer. The government went in after the train derailment, and they planted fucking explosives on this train, and they blew it up in the center of fucking town or wherever it fucking derailed, and they didn't evacuate anybody. Never told anybody anything. And I've been seeing, so YouTube has been taking down a lot of the videos except for anything the news reported, which is, fine. That's what they do. Twitter, on the other hand, I've been watching cell phone videos. The sky doesn't even look right anymore. It doesn't look right. It's a weird gray.
You can actually see the cloud from space.
Yeah, it's blotted out the sun like some Mr. Burns bullshit. Um, it's a really fucked up thing. And then they told everybody the water in the groundwater is going to be fine to drink. It's not. It's not. Up to 100 miles away, livestock and fish are dead. This is really fucked up. And it's quiet on the front of all these EPA activists and all this bullshit. And the reason why I want to bring it up in this episode is because anybody who watches this and doesn't know about it, you really need to educate yourself on this shit, because the river
No, I
that
fully agree. There's a complete media blackout on it. I hear reporters are kind of getting
arrested,
Yeah.
they're getting
Absolutely.
arrested, and then the police are saying, well, no, they were trespassing, and it's like, no, they had press
Yep.
passes.
Do you know about the movie that came out in 2021 about this?
Yes, the same plot in the same fucking town. Now,
Yep.
secretly or not secretly, quietly done, the EPA also changed how toxic the vinyl chloride definition was,
Oh, of course they would do that immediately.
because they're doing a complete damage control, because they can't obviously block every video that goes out. They're going to, but
Yep.
for now they're going to memory hold it, and we'll never see it again, and that's why the news isn't reporting on it. The reason why I bring this up is because the river that that is connected to it is the Ohio
It
River.
supplies about 10 million people
It,
for drinking water.
do you remember last week I sent you that crazy sunset picture and it was crimson red, and you're like, holy shit. You're like, I thought that was a fire. That was the smoke drifting over towards this way.
Yep.
So I'm close enough to it where I can see the sunsets have been fucking crazy lately, but I'm also far enough away to where I'm safe. I'm fine.
I've heard from somebody to get some chemical test strips and actually test the rain that
I'm going to.
happens in the next couple weeks, next month or two, and just see how, see how fucked up it is.
It's really
We're going through some really weird shit. A lot of allowed fucked up things. Like, why would you blow that up? And also, why would you cover it up? Obviously, there's something going on, and you have this town that's just completely suffering, and there's nothing happening, even though we're just shoveling money everywhere else. But nobody's addressing this. Nobody's addressing this.
nobody
Huge incident.
they obviously, when they asked, I think Pete Buttigieg, when they asked him, he blamed Trump. Whatever. I think every administration, if the infrastructure is as bad as they're saying, then every administration takes the blame. It doesn't matter who did it. The damage is fucking done.
Blame is so easy to do. That's the
I know.
easiest thing to do, is to blame somebody. But to actually take action, that's the sign of a proper person, a proper politician, or coordinator, whatever it is. But just take action. Stop blaming. This is horrible. Blaming, was it going to take another 6 months before action happens? It's going to be like, what was that was that Katrina? And it took months, maybe even almost a year for help and relief. It's just the same thing. It's just like, when it comes to like another country or another incident, we'll shovel money out in the hundreds of millions so easily. But when it comes to our own country itself, within a state in our country, it just takes so long, and it takes weeks before even something's acknowledged. I'm not even gonna get further into it because it's
It
just
but this whole thing again, like I
it's
said,
horrible.
other than that, that river, the Ohio River, connects to the Mississippi River. The
Yeah.
contaminated water runs into Canada, and it runs down into the Gulf. I really, really, really genuinely feel bad for anybody who has to be near that river because
Well, it's eventually going to hit everywhere. That like I said, that
what's
that
up,
water is going to
Pablo?
precipitate. It's going to get distilled into the air, and it's going to spread everywhere and rain. It's going to be everywhere. The same way. What was that? A Japanese generator that
Oh,
failed. The
to the
nuclear.
nuclear reactor. It's not
The
Fukushima, is it?
Fukushima.
The Fukushima
And
tsunami that caused the
that
reactor.
stuff spread itself
What's up, Wes?
around the world a bunch of times. It just winds and stuff picked up. But
I'm
just
doing good tonight,
I
Pablo.
don't know.
Um,
Oh yeah, what's up, Pablo?
the other thing
Pablo's
too about
good
this
dude, man.
whole
Good to hear from him.
the other thing about this whole train derailment, this is the first one out of four in the past two
Oh yeah,
weeks.
I know. There's been a ton, and they're all carrying
The same chemicals.
some sort of a volatile chemicals. Yeah, very very
The one
strange, very
in
weird.
the one in Michigan weirds me out because it was acid, not the cool shit that you take and you fucking have fun, but it was acid and it's in the groundwater and it's all over the place and nobody's talking about this. It's almost to me like one of those fucking. It's like an X-Files episode. It's
Dude,
like the train bomb. Like
I've been explaining that to Darlene, my wife. Sorry, I've been explaining to her like all the time. Like everything just seems like a really fucked up, well plotted X Files
yeah.
episode, like the train derailment with chemicals and all.
I literally I just picture the fucking cigarette smoking man.
Like just going back real quick, just to go back to the whole train derailment. So a train derails out of nowhere with chemicals on it. First off, trains don't derail; they're on a straight plot. You really can't do anything. It's not like you're gonna steer out of the way. So trains don't derail. You could hit something, even just plow through it, but it wasn't like, oh, it hit a car or something. It just kind of derailed, whatever it was. So that's kind of suspicious. Also, it's carrying all these chemicals and then it just sits there and they decide to blow it up versus safely, dispose of it, drain it, and whatever. So it's just so many red flags. It just seems bizarre.
It
To
doesn't. It really doesn't make
just
sense. And
no,
I
no,
tried
it doesn't.
finding the. I tried finding the map that showed the affected areas. Like I said, I got lucky because it's um it's about an hour away from me or 2 hours away from me is the end of the fallout zone, whatever you want to call it.
Oof.
It's not that bad, and like I said, I'm fine, or we're fine
You
over
have herpes,
here.
don't you? You have herpes, don't you?
I got AIDS, but
I can tell. You have that train crash herpes.
it's so fucking bizarre that this is going on, by the way, and somebody pointed this out, and this is a conspiracy theory, and I love conspiracy theories, but all these fucking derailments happened in swing states.
Yeah, well, what a weird thing.
So my thing,
That and the what was that? A bunch of I think it was like 60 different distributors of meat having fires in
oh yeah, yeah,
their warehouses.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There is a
Lot
good
of strange
there is a good rebuttal to that. You heard what happened in the Netherlands, right?
No.
So Bill Gates opened a huge Beyond Meat factory out there.
Well, he owns 51 or more
40% of U.S.
farmland.
farmland in
Oh,
America,
it's 40%.
and that's
Okay, I
it. But
thought
that's a lot of
this was great.
farmland that he owns.
But yeah, yeah.
However, he also pushed for laws to kind of limit the way that farmers in the Netherlands, I think it was the Netherlands, are allowed to do shit. So he pushed for EU regulations that would basically cut down the amount of cows they're allowed to have, the amount of chickens and stuff, because he claimed, my environment. They went in, the people of whatever it was, and they set this fucking place on fire in the middle of the night.
Oof.
They burnt down this brand new fucking facility within the opening because they've had enough.
Mm.
They don't. If you
I love it.
It's weird that it sucks that you're not on Twitter, and it doesn't in a way because you just don't see all the toxic shit. But if you really go on Twitter and you
I just love a good
fuck you.
not a good fuck you. Like the option to have your own opinion.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because even though people have their own opinion, it's never really broadcasted too well. And also, even if it is, you're in such a small number, you can't do anything. And especially if it's something really bad. There's a lot of things going on these days, and like you really don't have an
Hello,
opinion. Like
Darlene.
even right now, like we have Long Island Railroad, big train schedule changes now. We were promised more trains, and it's because the new Grand Central Station's opening up. But we actually have half as many trains. Also, every other train that I go on from Ronkonkoma, which was usually a straight shot to Penn Station, is a transfer. There's also like up to an hour gap in between, and it's just complete nightmare. But we have no option. We have no say in it. It just kind of is what it is. But yeah,
But
Pig over here saying something.
oh, she has an opinion too. But yeah, it's a really weird situation that we're in. The other thing I was talking to G about this because I'm super religious. I pray all the time. I really believe in stuff like that. I read the Bible. Mom likes to make that argument that we're in the end times. I don't think we are because there's not enough things. Blah 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 blah. Whatever your views on religion are and all that stuff. And however,
The quick end times thing, I just think it can get so much worse. I always talk about
oh
the
yeah, yeah,
end
oh,
times. Like it's bad, but it can get so much worse. But
oh yeah.
continue.
But if you read towards Revelations, there's a part of the Bible where it says, "And the mighty Euphrates dries up, and the four angels God chained to the bottom will walk free." Euphrates River just fucking dried up for the first time in history.
That's kind of weird.
It's weird. I know. A lot of people obviously have their own religious opinions, and I'm sure it dried up before, and they're just reporting it as different.
Yeah, dried up in the 1700s, dried up in the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
1400s. Yeah.
But it's just like such a weird. We are at a weird time, but at the same
When you
time,
think
I
about it,
don't
like
think it's that.
if you were probably in Rome before it burned, you would say the same thing. You'd be like, things are so fucked up
Well,
right now.
that's the
I
other.
don't even know what's going on. Like it would probably be 10 times worse. Like you probably even just think about that, and they're gonna have you on the street and just yeah.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is like, that my argument again, as much as I believe, I just don't think that we're at the end times because there's a lot of shit that the Bible says that just hasn't happened. But there are other super fucking weird times. I mean, in 1887, whatever it was, Mount Krakatoa erupted. It was the biggest eruption from a volcano ever. I think that's the year. I might be wrong. However, it was heard 5,000 miles away. It also blotted out the sun to the point where New York City, all the way through Pennsylvania in the Midwest United States, it snowed almost every day in the summer. The lakes never thawed out. If you look at that famous picture called The Scream with the guy on the boardwalk like this, and the sky's that beautiful orange and blue, that was made during that year that the volcano erupted. By the way, that permanently decreased the temperature of the Earth by like I think 2 degrees. It was enough that like I said, it was enough that the sun blotted out, and the lakes in Pennsylvania never thawed out that year, or 3 years. It's called 3 years without a summer or something like that.
Jesus
So I'm sure those
Christ.
people probably thought it was like some sort of end time thing. And I'm not trying to talk about this the reason why I bring this up is I'm not trying to talk about this train derailment thing to invoke fear. I don't want to do that. Yeah, everybody form their own opinion. I just feel genuinely bad for the people who are trapped in this fucking town. The EPA lied to them, and they've already been exposed to chemicals. It doesn't matter. The damage is fucking done. It's done. They could have
Purposely.
They could have purposely got them out of there, but they waited days. They blew the fucking trains up. The fire's been roaring.
No way you can justify letting people stay there and not evacuate. Just even blowing it up. Come on, hazardous chemicals. How does that make sense? How does that make? That's gonna be my final statement. I'm just gonna stay baffled.
It doesn't make sense. Nothing is making fucking sense. It's so weird. Like I've gotten. What happened?
Well, I didn't say anything, honey buddy.
It's become a point where like, I hate to say it, but I'm so clown pilled and fucking black pilled. Like everything to me now is like a weird conspiracy or done in design, and I don't want to think like that, but it's just so weird. It's like Alex Jones. Alex Jones years ago to me, I always thought he was an idiot. I don't think that guy's fucking stupid. I think I think he said some
No, I
stupid
think
shit.
at one point he had some decent, input, but he just lost himself over the past years. He's gotten so far from it.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of lost his mind. He's
Yeah.
lost his
Well,
marbles. I think that's what they say. That's the term?
Oh, by the
Lost your
way, you
marbles.
know who was on? You know who? They had. You know who Mersh had on his show? Alex
Who?
fucking Jones twice. He would. He definitely would.
Well, he's got a great show, dude.
Do that. His two shows, three shows, if you count Daywave 2 with Royce Lopez, are some of the best shows I've ever watched in my entire life. But this was, I pulled this up. I got to put the headphone in because for some reason the external video I'm playing is acting weird, so I have to make sure that it's actually playing with sound. If it doesn't, then I just don't care.
EPA administrator is visiting East Palestine, Ohio today.
That's right. He's there to survey the scene of last week's train derailment, which led to the controlled release of toxic chemicals into the air.
On Wednesday, hundreds of residents from the area crowded into a high school gym expecting answers from the train company, Norfolk Southern. While local, state, and federal officials were on hand, the train company did not show, citing a growing physical threat to their employees.
It was just a big runaround. Like, I feel like a lot of the questions that were asked were people's rantings. And
I'm sorry, Danielle
just
Deal.
Speaking in circles, the answers that were given were things that we've already been told.
CBS News correspondent Roxana Saberi joins us now. Roxana, the EPA, lawmakers, they all appear to be physically in Ohio right now. But as we just heard from some residents, they're not hearing anything fresh, anything new, anything reassuring. Talk to us about what they're telling you they want to know.
Well, residents here, Errol, have a lot of questions. Mainly, they want to know, are they safe? Where is safe and what is safe? Are the water, soil, and air safe? Is it okay to shower and wash their clothes at home? Or is the water contaminated? And why are fish dying in the streams? They want to know what chemicals were on the train, what exactly was leaked or released into the environment. At first, they'd heard only about vinyl chloride, a carcinogen, but last week, the EPA wrote a letter to Norfolk Southern.
Again, like I brought up before, it's a carcinogen that is extremely toxic to people, no matter what fucking way you put, unless it's processed, which that's what's in your latex gloves, and that's fine.
Yeah, but like anything turned into a gas form is the most hazardous way you can encounter it.
Of course. This is, again, it's super, no matter which way you look at it, it doesn't make sense. Everything is weird. And like the girl said, and I feel bad for the girl, and I'm sure she probably embellished because she's on the news, but she said they just ran him around in circles and didn't give him any answers.
Also, another thing, is it as flammable as it is to make as big of a cloud that it did, like to be that hazardous and have that far of a reach of hazard? Is that normal for this type of gas? Like blowing it up, like there's a lot of things like you blow up water and it doesn't really do much, but you blow up gasoline, obviously the results are different. But blowing this thing up looked like a fucking A-bomb going off. So is that normal? That's another thing to think about. The explosion on this. What is it? Is the chemical really what it is, or is that in something else? Or I really, I think I'm just kind of getting a little too.
No. That's a good question, and I think what happens is, I think a mixture of the explosions, and I'm sure the chemical is volatile. It does make nitrile gloves.
You can see pictures of it from space and all that. Like if they knew that, if they knew it was like, oh, we're about to blow up, 1 million liters of gasoline, like. You'd obviously think about like maybe we should drain this, but
that's what I don't get is the train
like an A-bomb going off. You can see pictures from space. Why didn't they make the executive decision to drain it or do something different instead of detonating it? Like that just seems like a little kid. Like, oh, let's just blow it up. Let's blow it up. It seems nuts.
I agree with you. It doesn't make sense. Then that's where I'm coming from, where it doesn't make sense. This whole thing like annoys me because it's so fucking bizarre. But
and nobody's gonna be held accountable.
What they needed was Kramer's bladder for oil trucks.
Oh my god! I was gonna say the same thing. Kramerica Industries. Yep.
Darren, if you told me 10 years ago I'd be sitting at this window. No,
so
but I had to make the joke because it's just fucking weird. What were you saying?
Oh, you got an announcement about Jimmy Carter?
Yeah, but that's after this because I still have a couple things I have to play on this. I know this is. I'm gonna skip this one.
You told me you had some kinky info. That's why I was.
It's not kinky info, but this was. I turned the sound off for this because the sound was some plinky planky fucking weird music, and I hate plinky planky stuff. But this was the.
All right. Well, while you play that, I got some music for that.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're gonna get us copyrighted again. No, turn.
Not if you do it like this.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Turn it off. I got hit.
No, not if you do it like that.
Yes.
Every once in a while, just. Oh.
No, stop. I got
They'll never know.
No, I got hit.
They'll never know.
No, stop.
They'll never know. Whoa, 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 whoa. Anyway,
I got hit last night over 2 seconds from a clip of Gucci's playing a song in the back before she fell. YouTube was like, no, fuck you. Like, that's fuck this. And I was like, God damn it. Midstream, I was like,
YouTube was like,
what that smell like?
Well, the weird thing is they were like, oh, yeah, after you get, if there's a copyright claim, your channel's fine, which it is, and we don't do anything to the video. The video had on Facebook, which is connected to my YouTube and then connected to Streamlabs, had 100 views, not live, but within an hour. And then they completely strangled it and kept it at 7. So I don't fuck around with the copyright shit anymore because it's way too much. There's certain things where like, yeah, if we like,
well,
when we do the throwaway episodes,
I owe you a Coke if they
I owe you a fucking Coke.
Anyway, what is that we are looking at?
I'm gonna rewind
the explosion.
This is the controlled explosion.
Oh my god!
Wait, let me see if the music it was planky. Oh no, maybe this wasn't it. It's just. I'm gonna skip ahead because it's just. You know, I just want to say too, like.
And also, that's a known carcinogen.
Yeah.
Like the worst thing you can do is turn something into a gas form, and just let it go. Oh my god.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like all these people who are like, and it's the same group of people like, and like I said, Pete Buttigieg, where it's like. They talk about protecting the environment, and then they call for that shit.
Once you get into a certain level of power, you know, man, you don't really give a shit.
Cheers, by the way.
Yeah, cheers to you, brother, man. That's some disgusting shit. Not even cheers to that, but
oh no, I know,
people.
Dude.
Really
and again,
some
you understand this whole
play, man, because that's fucked up.
This whole week at work, I could not wait because Friday, obviously, like I said, I do the show with G where we do the deep dive on IRL, which I might pull up a clip later on for you. I do that whole thing, and then Saturday is obviously that's the show, and I could not wait. Even yesterday, I oh my god, I was so close to bringing it up, and I was like, no, I can't do that. I have to have Sean for his input.
I'm very glad it's brought up because there's it's blank. There's no media outlet talking about it and talking.
There's no
nobody's talking about it. But it's disgusting.
Joe Rogan,
it really is.
You don't understand. 2023. I'm fucking sitting there. I derail a fucking train. I'm high on fucking cocaine. Call me fucking Casey Jones. They fucking blow it up.
Joe Rogan.
They blow it up.
Fucking time. I'm fucking horny as fuck, bro. Joe Rogan. I'm fucking sitting there on the 8 train, fucking eating out of my balls anyway. So fucking.
I'm sitting there, Joe. Dude, I'm taking these fucking mushrooms. I'm picturing shit. I don't even realize. I gotta be honest with you. I'm in a fucking daycare. I got a hard on. Next thing I know, Joe, I got the fucking cops dragging me out like a fucking soldier. I'm cursing them out. I'll be honest with you. 5 years, I'm on that fucking list. Everywhere I go. Colorado, New York, New Jersey, California, Joe, it doesn't matter. I'm on a fucking mailing list. My face is on that fucking thing. Yeah, no, that's interesting. Did you try any LSD? Joe, this is no fucking time for LSD, all right? I got a fucking hard on like a fucking soldier for some fucking mushrooms. You think I'm going to sit there and I'm going to fucking put down some LSD? I'll tell you what. Bar mitzvahs are fucking weird, Joe.
Joey Diaz is a fucking trooper, man.
That's my Joey Diaz impression. It's pretty good. It's not great, though. But you just got to go real fucking low. You gotta get low.
Turn me on.
But then you gotta get really fucking excited too. Like, I'm listening to fucking Black Sabbath.
His stories are just so bizarre. You have to be like that wild, just like not giving a fuck. But it's gotta be like the 80s.
Do you think he
early
drank Bud
90s
Light?
to really get into that state?
You think he drank Bud Light when he was not giving a fuck?
Oh man! Oh my God! So we got a great story. We always
Tell
hope
that
about.
one. Before you move
When you're, in
on,
the state of when you're in the state of not giving a fuck, it's drinking Bud Light, you know. So we had this friend one time who was all hyped about freestyle. We're at this really good party, and he got really hyped up about freestyle. And we finally gave him his chance. We got beat and all that and shit. And his whole thing was drinking Bud Light, not giving a fuck, hanging out, not giving a fuck, chilling at this house, not giving a fuck, drinking Bud Light, not giving a fuck, hanging with my dudes, not giving a fuck, drinking Bud Light, not giving a fuck. Like
It
every
rhymes.
other thing was
It's so
drinking
perfect.
Bud Light, not giving a fuck. So we kind of have this like ongoing thing about like, you don't give a fuck, bro.
Bro, if you don't
drinking
give a
Bud Light.
fuck,
or vice versa. If we see someone drinking Bud Light, like that motherfucker ain't giving a fuck. Like,
dude,
you know they don't care. Yeah,
I
that kind of goes hand in hand though. Like you see someone drinking Bud Light, like they don't give a fuck.
I got to tell you, I thought about this. I still have stuff on the fucking train derailment I want to go over, but I want to segue for a second. I had this memory pop into my head that was so fucking golden. This
Joe
is
Rogan
about
had this fucking memory pop in my fucking head. It was fucking golden, bro.
Joe. We're talking about 2011.
Sorry,
maybe 2000.
You got it better. But
It is a good Joey Diaz impression. We're talking 2011. I don't know, 2012. I'm doing fucking coke. No, but I'm sitting there and I remember this out of nowhere. Do you remember there was a promotion going on? 2011, I think, is the year. 2012. It was Monster 2 for $5, and on the bottom it said can deposit and tax included. We go to the fucking gas station, and there's that guy there, and he tried charging us $7.50, and you were like, no, you're like, fuck. I was like, just fucking pay, let's go, like it doesn't matter.
Yep.
And you're like, nah, fuck that, and you're like, well, let's just leave.
About.
So we leave, and we go to the fucking deli, literally next door, and the guy's like, no, it's $5, like that's the price, and we sit there and pay. We get our monsters. We didn't open them yet, and all of a sudden you're like, come with me real quick. Like, I got to do something. I'm like, all right. So we go in the gas station, and you pull the monster out, and you're like, 2 for $5, motherfucker. And then you take your arm, and you knife hand on a fucking counter full of, like, smoked pipes and shit, and you swept it. Like you were going to make love to some beautiful chick in the 80s in a movie. It didn't make sense. And he's like, fuck you, you motherfucker. And he comes out with a broomstick, and I'll never forget it. You were like, you got a broom? Pop, and you grab it from his hand. You're like, that's my fucking broom. That's my broom, motherfucker. I own this broom. And we left. And the Spanish kid who worked at the gas pump comes up to you. He's like, bro, can I please have the broom back? I'm going to have to hear him bitch all day about a broom gone. And you're like, only because I like you. But I'll never forget it. You went in there just to tell him about the monster, and then you just knifed hand his counter, and you fucking swept it, which you've never done before. And I remember sitting there like, but that guy was an asshole.
But the whole thing is that guy's been lying for a while, and also he was such a dick. I remember that guy. He was so negative. He was so mean. He overcharged people. You know,
Yep.
That's Ali's own place. Ali owns the place. If it was Ali, he would have said, "Yeah, I got you. I'll match that price." Ali is like Best Buy. He price matches. You know, everybody knows that. Ali price matches.
I got
Not that guy.
a really cool story about Ali before we go back. When
That
Ali,
guy, I believe that guy's nickname was Big Head.
it was Big Head and Froggy
Yeah,
because you looked like a fucking bullfrog.
yeah.
I got a
Big Head.
really cool story about
You know what they say
Ali.
about people with big head though? Big brains. They're smart.
Yeah, not him.
However, you know, yeah. not
So
him. Sorry.
the week that Ali opened that fucking gas station, I was dating some fucking chick, and I was like 14. I was dating this chick, Maria. I'm like 14 years old. I'm like fucking 14, Joe. You have to understand. But I'm like 14, and I'm crossing his gas station parking lot, and he's in a chair like this. So he's passed out in this fucking chair, and I was like, hey, dude, are you all right? And he goes, oh, fuck, bro. By the way, Ollie's straight from Turkey. And he's like, bro, I'm so sorry. I was smoking fucking bull opium. And I go, what? And he's like, don't tell anybody. You could do whatever you want. you can buy whatever you want. Just don't tell anybody. Dude, when I was 14, I was getting every Friday 32 cases of fucking beer and leaving. And he's like, I remember one day he's like, the cops are in the parking lot. I can't do it. And I was like, Ollie, opium dog. And he's like, do you have back?
2 stories about that place. So you talk about the opium. I only remember the first one. Yeah, okay. So apparently, I think I was with James. We found a weird random Turkish or whatever bill. It was in the the millions. That was the increment. It was a very, very drastic bill. It was like, oh, we found like $20 million. It was one bill. It was a really nice looking bill.
Damn, I just lost something that was in my hand. It's gone now.
Fuck. Anyway, we were pretty pumped about it, and we went and looked it up, and it was really worth like nothing. The way it worked over translation wise, I think it was like the fraction of a penny. Even though it was like $20 million there, it was like 1/20th of a cent. Not that, just saying that, but anyway, we found out a while after that there was a FBI bust with money being laundered in that place. So it was funny that we found this weird Turkish bill just kind of floating around in the parking lot. Very weird. But another one. So talking about what you were talking about with gas station owners just getting fucked up. That same gas station with the laundering, with the Ali being fucked up in the parking lot and opium. There was also another time I went there. I was, oh my God, I must have been.
Is this with Homie Boy?
Yes.
I missed that dude. That dude was fucking cool,
before
man.
Ali, it was Homie Boy, and it was a different owners. And Homie Boy, you can still hear me, right? Am I muted?
No.
Okay, I felt I wasn't. Anyway, Homie Boy was like the most gangster dude from Pakistan. He was super cool. He was super assimilated to the culture, and he was just gangster too. He would mess you. I remember one time.
Before you go on, for anybody who doesn't understand, this is right after 9/11. Homie Boy wore a suit. He wore a turban, and he wore any of the fucking brand new Nikes you could find. And he'd look at you and be like, "What's up, my homie?" Almost like Holy Moly Donuts. That dude was cool as shit.
He wore those long jean shorts with the T-shirt. Yeah, as I said, it was like I was 18, 19. I was 20, right at high school, like 2003, 2004, 2005. But anyway, he was measuring the gas. He had the big giant stick, the 10-meter stick in the gas tank. Bunch of guys come up, bunch of hood dudes come up, and they said, "What do you do? Are you putting bombs in there?" He drops the stick and just grabs his balls. He's like, "I got fucking bombs for you, brother. You want some fucking bombs?" They just walked away. They didn't say shit to him. It was so funny. This guy was so cool.
Dude, it's funny
anyway, I went in there. Oh, go ahead.
It's funny you say that because I remember a distinct time where some dude was like, "Fuck you, you 9/11 hijacker," and he turned around. He's like, "Fuck me. Yo, fuck you and fuck your mother. I fuck your mother hard." And I remember as a kid, and I was like, this is like right after 9/11. I remember being like, damn, he got them.
He just knew the culture, though. He was smart. Like, he knew how to put people in their place. Cool. Especially the balls thing with like measuring the gas. Like, he was so gangster about it in a really gangster hood. Mastic Beach in the early 2000s, late 90s.
Nobody fucked with him either, which was cool.
No. Like I said, that guy was. Nobody fucked with him. But anyway, went there one time. I was like, I said 18, 19, 20. I don't even remember who I went there with. I definitely went there with probably Eric Longpipe, but he had. So I think we were asking him a question about like snuff, like dip tobacco and all that stuff, and he's like, "Oh, we got some stuff for you," and he pulled out his case of snuff, but he had some chewing tobacco with a bunch of stuff on it, and he said it was coke rubbed on it. And he gave it to us, and you just put it under your fucking gums or whatever. And I was like, super young. We're teenagers. Thought it was the coolest thing ever. I look back and I was like, that's the most disgusting shit, sketchy, horrible, like throw up. But that's these gas stations back then. There was just no rule. It was like Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome. Like, you had your own gas station, you sold your own shit. You want to derail trains in your back corner, you could do it. Nobody could stop you.
Sorry, I have to appeal Twitter real quick because they put a warning on our video for being some stupid shit. It had nothing to do with anything, but yeah, Homie Boy was like,
don't talk about that. We don't.
No. I think it was because last night I played the IRL videos, and then I think Twitter for some reason kind of held on to that data. The IRL shit I understand because they do. If you watch the first one last week I did with G, the guy called his girlfriend an unsavory word. And every time I don't know when he says it because it's so random, especially the live streams. I have to say after each time he says it, I disavow. I don't do it. I don't like it. It's unsavory as shit. Let's get back to this, and then we're gonna move on.
I feel like we got super off track.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
I like that. I feel like I almost want to warn someone next time. Like, you have me so upset right now. And
I have to get off track, you motherfucker.
So, Joe Rogan, this one time, I'm really mad at this guy. I'm going to tell you. I told him I was going to say, I'm about to tell you, you're an unsavory word right now. You know, I just really want to tell you, but
Joe,
I can't say it as good as you. You know, I feel
Joe,
like I just completely failed.
There's one time I'm getting blown by my wife. I'm getting blown by this chick. This is 1995. You know, Friday had just come out. She's blowing me. It's terrible. She got braces on. She's a Black Decker record. And I looked at her and I was like, I'm going to call you an unsavory word, but I'm not. She understood, Joe. She understood the fucking magic behind the fucking phrase that I used. Yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, so this is it's such a good, it is a better impression than I thought it was, because now I can hear it in my headphones. But you have to sit there and talk low. I'm listening to fucking, I'm high as shit. I'm listening to some fucking Black Sabbath,
dude. It's condenser mic that really brings it in.
I love this mic.
It's so full and deep, you know.
This podcast thing, or the whatever it was I brought, was like, I think $200 or $150. It's like called the Podcast Pro.
Plug the company.
Yeah, it's called the Moano. It's weird setting up. I'm going to be honest with you. The setup sucks fucking balls. Once you get on your computer, you have to really manually do the things, which is why I'm afraid to go to that other platform, because it took me half a month
to learn things like that, man.
No, it took me half a month to learn with OBS, but once I learned with OBS, I kind of figured it out here, and I've learned all the shit on the fly.
It stands for oh bullshit.
I learned it on the fucking fly, but the Podcaster Pro and Lite and stuff like that it's great, and it comes with dumb sound effects which I don't use. Like, I could be like, "Welcome back, Joey Diaz." Hey Joe, do you ever suck my dick? This one time I was getting a blowjob. It's just stupid shit it comes with, and I want to erase them because there's a way to do that and put your own sound effects. And I want the George Carlin one where he's like, "Shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up." You have those. I have to get those on my computer too, like my own one. But we're gonna get back to this whole thing. So this is a week after. This is Forbes. Oh, so this is a week after the EPA told everybody in Ohio, like, hey, the water's safe. So this is Senator J.D. Vance, who's a Republican from Ohio. Whatever party he's in, at least somebody's showing this.
Hey guys, so I'm here at Leslie Run, and there's dead worms and dead fish all throughout this water. So, something I just discovered is that if you scrape the creek bed, it's like chemical is coming out of the ground. Can you come here? And let me just show this to people. I don't know if you're going to see this in the camera, but watch this. Just see that chemical pop out of the creek. This is disgusting. And the fact that we have not cleaned up the train crash, the fact that these chemicals are still seeping in the ground is an insult to the people who live in East Palestine. Do not forget these people. We got to keep applying pressure. That's how we're going to fix this problem.
We're not going to fix it, by the way. It's never.
No,
he's right.
I agree with you, and I agree with him, though. This is disgusting.
He's 100% completely
We'll address so many other issues that don't need to be addressed at the. The whole thing is prioritizing things. What needs the most prioritized? You know, like I agree, certain things and certain help out of another country, but right now this is just such.
Nah, fuck that country,
needs
son.
To be addressed right now. Should have been addressed weeks ago, or not weeks ago, but a week ago.
Fuck that country that you were talking about. I know which one you're talking about. I know you feel the same way, but fuck that. We don't need to be involved in anybody else.
I'm not gonna say anything like that.
Yeah, no, I know.
Money
goes. I can.
In the wrong places. Even not even other countries. Not even saying that. Like 3 years ago, I remember there was a bill, and there was like $90 million towards the Kennedy Center for repairs. Does the Kennedy Center really need $90 million in repairs? Maybe $10 million went. Not even. Oh my God, $10 million.
Maybe like $2-3 million.
Maybe $2-3 million went into those repairs, and the rest of that, 86 million, 85 million went right.
I will say the one cool thing about the Kennedy Center, and I didn't know this until about 10 years ago. I didn't know that the Kennedy Center does a thing called the Rock Honors. Did you know that?
No.
They honored during, it was one of the coolest videos I've ever seen. They honored during Obama. I think he kind of has input. I don't know how it goes. They honored Led Zeppelin. They had Heart come out, and they did Stairway to
I know what
Heaven.
you're talking about.
And it's super cool because they had a full
Stairway,
chorus.
right?
Yeah, they had a full chorus behind them, and it was beautiful. And they give them like, it's not the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I think it's like the Kennedy Award or some fucking whatever.
It's the Kennedy Center Honors.
Yeah, and it's super fucking cool, and it's great. And
I'm not saying what the Kennedy Center stands for. It's
$50
bad.
million,
I'm just saying
$50 million
they
in
deserve
repairs.
$90 million
No.
or, you know, that's my point. Kennedy Center is great. Nothing about that. You know.
So, dude, today this happened. As much as I don't agree with any of his policies or anything he did, I will say after Jimmy Carter as a president was a shitty president. There's nobody who can agree that he was great. The dude afterwards, the man after being a president, was one of the greatest people because he sat there and he built he's still building houses
He still does.
Up until a week
He's
ago.
in his 90s and he still does.
So he's 98 or 93, some weird thing around there.
Imagine being 73, 74 and still building houses. 93, 94.
There's only one man I know who could do that.
Yeah. The amazing Jimmy Carter.
The amazing Joe. Our grandpa would do that.
Actually, Billy Carter was pretty capable. I'm just joking.
Billy Carter was really good with
our
beer.
Grandpa Joe. That was a different person.
That was a fucking dude.
He's probably building
mansions,
houses and churches in heaven right now. You know that. You know that once they got in there, like, we need your carpentry skills. We need you to build this 14-story steeple. And he's like, I got you.
He's like, oh,
most amazing man ever. That's gonna be one big rep to Big Joe Pernack right now.
Goddamn, what a fucking great dude.
Cheers to you.
Cheers, buddy. Cheers. Let me get it
Joe,
up.
this one time, I'm with fucking Joe Pernack. He's building this fucking 15-story steeple.
He's fucking sitting there. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know anything about fucking building, Joe. This guy fucking builds around me like a fucking stallion. However, as I was saying, don't like Jimmy Carter, the president. I do like, obviously fucking, oh, my old boss is watching. Rob, what's up, Rob? How are you? I do
He's
like
probably an old school Home Depot dude.
Yeah. He's also a 27
Shirley Home Depot.
Yep. So he's also a 27-year military member. He probably knows
big reps, man. Love the military.
He was
awesome.
a first sergeant.
Fucking thank you, brother.
He probably
thank you so
knows,
much. 27 years. That's a long time too.
He probably knows the
years,
most
man.
I've ever met out of any person, and I'm not just saying that because he's watching. I used to tell him that. I still talk. I transferred to the Home Depot. Obviously, as a second job up here, and I talk about him all the time because when, like, at the new Home Depot I'm at, it's obviously in a different state, and it's slower. The people are fucking slow. And I was like, you guys wouldn't get away with this. I was like, this guy was an old first sergeant. I was like, my favorite story ever of him before we did the whole Jimmy Carter thing is there was one time where I'll never forget it. Rob was driving the EPJ after store hours, and he just happened to look over.
What's the EPJ?
Electric pallet jack. So he's driving it like this beautiful German warlord, like just chest out. He's all proud. And he sees it was like a wing stack or toilet paper or paper towels he didn't like. He literally jumped off the fucking thing to fix it, jumped back on and took off. And then the rest of the night he sat there like he was a manager. He didn't have to do anything, but the rest of the night he sat there and he fixed so much shit in that fucking store. He's probably one of the only managers I've ever had that I really ever appreciated.
Speaking of that, so I have some coworkers. They're like, you know, like the senior event person, whatever. And I have, you know, about like 7 of them, and they all do a role, whether it's, you know, the head of video, the head of whatever for this event. But there's one of them that just, even if there's a person that's going to be the TD, the technical director, that's going to call the shots, she still wants to be something where she doesn't have to take a role, just sit in the back and not do anything. Crew chief is the new role she came up with, but it's kind of sad. It really is. It's like, you know, everybody else I work with that's in that same position as her takes a big chunk of it and does it. Like they're in there with us. Like that's like going back to the trenches. Like they're in the trenches with us versus this person just like calling shots from the sideline.
Well, it sucks because I work the main.
It sucks people like that.
It sucks because I work the main job, and then I work Home Depot on the side, and I probably work like this week. I did 3 16-hour days back to back. So like right now I'm exhausted. My legs are fucking tired. And the manager,
yeah, you want me to rub those legs for you?
I would love that. The managers I have now at this Home Depot are really good, but they'll never hold up to Rob. Like I think about Rob all the time, and I always want to text him, but I don't know if I should. And I know he's watching, so he'll probably write to me on the live chat.
Joe,
and shit,
I got this guy Rob.
I got this guy all the time. I got this guy fucking Rob. He's fucking great. No, Rob was great, and he's retired now.
Cheers to Rob.
Yeah, cheers to Rob. He's retired now, so he's sitting there. He's done his time. He's done his service. He left the military and then immediately worked at fucking Home Depot. Really did his fucking time. It's not that he's smart. He's
20-something years.
27. It's not that he was smart. He just has that work ethic that you don't see anymore. Where it's just like
people
there's
like to cry,
no break.
People like they just like to cry. Where understand, but they cry too quick, too easily. Where suck it up and be strong.
There was no break with Rob. There was Rob from the second he walked in to the second he left. Rob was working. I do have a favorite story about Rob, and I know he's watching. I don't know if he doesn't get mad, but there was one time where he did leave. Like he left. Like it was he was over. His shift was over, and he came back with 2 tall boys in a bag, and he's sitting there having a sip. And this lady, Eileen, that we worked with was like, "Oh, Rob, are you drinking your adult sodas?" And he looks at her and he's like, "No, Eileen, I'm a fucking adult. I'm having a beer after work, and then I'm going home. They're not adult sodas." And he just looked at her, and I remember in my head, I was like, "God damn, that motherfucker is gangster." He's so
it's funny. As we're talking about this, you tell me he was on the electric pallet jack.
Mm-hmm.
Which people don't know. It's just kind of like a person on a platform with a pallet jack and like person. It's almost like a pallet jack, but just electric. Anyway, I'm kind of thinking this guy to look like kind of like a minotaur or a centaur, half person, half electric pallet jack. So this guy's like all chest up top, and his bottom half is like legs that just completely form into the handles of a pallet jack, and his bottom half is pallet jack. I mean, I think that's genius right there. I would like to see somebody, if anybody's listening, to draw that up. Somebody that's half person, half pallet jack, electric pallet jack. I think that'd be great.
He, like I said, he is probably one of the only managers I think about.
Oh, I am not talking about him not being great. He probably is great.
No. I'm just saying, like
that even gives him more credit. Like, a minotaur. Like I said, please, somebody. Joe. Somebody draw that picture for me. I want to see someone half pallet jack and half fucking human.
I want to see this fucking guy as a fucking pallet jack minotaur. I've seen it. I saw it once. No, but dude, I again.
What you got about Mr. Carter though?
Oh yeah. We keep getting sidetracked. That's my fault.
No, I know. We got a lot to talk about.
Unfortunately. For some fucking reason, I'm actually going to run to the bathroom because I watched this. I'll turn my camera off. I don't know why the Fox News shit is.
Well, actually, if you're going to the bathroom, please keep your camera on. Like, I would love to see that. I think everybody else would, like, please.
Live stream it. No, but I'm gonna play this because I really, like I said, I don't agree with Carter, the president. He was super fucking weak. But as a humanitarian afterwards, I think he really made up for it. So.
And welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. We are following breaking news on the health of former President Jimmy Carter. Take a look at this tweet by the Carter Center. We are learning that former President Jimmy Carter has started hospice care and will be beginning hospice care at home. Now, the statement from the Carter Center reads in part, after a series of short hospital stays, former U.S. President Jimmy Carter today decided to spend his remaining time at home with his family and receive hospice care instead of additional medical intervention. He has full support support of his family and his medical team. The Carter family asks for privacy during this time and is grateful for the concern shown by his many admirers. Again, former President Jimmy Carter to begin hospice care at home instead of medical treatments. Now, Jimmy Carter was the 39th president of the United States. More information here about his background. He was born in 1924 in the small farming town of Plains, Georgia, and grew up in the nearby community of Archery. And then
Dude,
in 1962,
this is the saddest thing
he
you
won
could
the
have ended on.
election to the
Oh no, we're not
idea.
ending on this. This is
I
not the
had
ending.
no idea. That is so. I mean, obviously, it's inevitable. It's a nice long run. I'm not saying anything like, oh, this is a fucking Joe Rogan is fucking tragedy. But anyway, that sucks, man. That's one of the last. I feel like they're all actors now. You know, they're not real true presidents. They're all.
God damn,
fucking actors.
sorry, I just can't get over the
even
fact
though
that
Ronald
the
Reagan was a
quality-
real actor. Anyway, though, Jimmy Carter was a great president, but great person, man. It really that sucks, man. It's one of the. We have a lot of really old school legends going lately. It just sucks, man.
Dude,
really,
we're at that weird fucking age where
yeah,
it's going to happen. You know, like the other day I was thinking about it. Like, actually, it was today. So I was looking up something with it was a Queen song, and then obviously
I'm sorry, Jimmy Carter. Damn,
yeah,
that's off of Jimmy Carter. I'm trying to take the whole thing off real quick. It's gonna be a lot. Seriously, though,
but
sucks,
I was
Jimmy
watching
Carter.
this thing. I was watching this documentary with Queen that came out 10 years ago, and then I was like, "How the fuck old is Brian May?" And I realized Brian May is 75 years old, and it's like,
yeah.
that sucks because he's one of the
Yoko
greatest.
is gonna be 90 in the next week.
Fuck Yoko Ono. Let's finish this video real quick.
He then became Georgia's 76th governor. That was in 1971. He was the Democratic National Committee campaign chairman for the 1976 congressional and gubernatorial elections. And then in 1974, he announced his candidacy for president of the United States. He won his party's nomination on the first ballot at the 1976 Democratic National Convention and was elected president. Jimmy Carter served as president from 1977 to 1981. After that, he became University Distinguished Professor at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, and founded the Carter Center. But again, breaking
by the way, famously taken over by Wesley Snipes in the movie New Jack City. So,
news here into our newsroom at Live Now from Fox. Former President Jimmy Carter has started hospice care, and he will be undergoing that at his home with his family and friends surrounding him.
I hate her voice.
We will continue to stay on top of that here on.
I won't. I will not. No, I'm joking. When he.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks, especially because it sucks because his wife is still.
When he's 110, 120,
no, you're right.
130.
You're right.
You know.
It does suck for the simple reason he's been with his wife since the end of World War II. I think 1944.
Is she still alive?
She's still alive. 1927. She's a little younger than him.
How? Oh. So all right. So that's when it starts sucking. It sucks for each other, you know.
Oh yeah.
One's man, I can't even imagine something.
I've been with my wife for
being without my wife for even a.
I've been with my wife.
I can be cold and bitter sometimes, but if I was without her, man, I don't even know what I would do.
I've been with I'll say her name because she's on the show on Friday, but I've been with Giselle for 13 years. Yeah. And I'm not just saying it because I'm on the air, but I really love her more every day. We have such a fucking. We have such a fucking. We all love her,
but Carter just loves her.
That's my boy right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's my fucking boy.
We had some photos of Carter. We're gonna not talk about him because we have no photos. But Jimmy Carter, though.
Jimmy Carter.
No relation, though. Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, it sucks because, like I said, I don't like Jimmy Carter, the president. It was him. Gerald Ford was like a really dark period in this country. But Jimmy Carter, the humanitarian afterwards, building houses, especially for like wounded warriors, I think it was, and stuff like that. Like I respect the shit out of that.
and into his 90s too. Like,
Yeah,
even if
there
it's
was
just photo appearances, you don't have to do that. You're in your 90s. You don't have to do anything, bro.
Yep.
Go relax. But like, no, I'll still take a photo.
Well, there was that story that I think he was, no, he really, apparently, I'm not sure, but they say he really builds the houses. I don't know because I'm not there, but they said a piece of wood fell and fucking knotted his face up good. And it's just like, yeah, like, dude, you're fucking 90. Like,
I'd carry him to safety.
I would ride into fucking, I would ride into the mist of Avalon for you. No, it was just, it sucks.
I'd ride on a random piece of wood. They hit him in the face. I'd ride on it. No, but seriously, that sucks. Obviously, you're going to hospice. That really sucks. That thought always scares me. Acknowledging it and taking it head on. I think that's pretty fucking brave.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope he transitions very well. Whatever he's seeking, I hope it goes very well for him. And cheers to Jimmy Carter.
Cheers.
Great legacy.
Now,
what that smell like?
It smells like old people. Before we end the show, I do have a couple of a literal couple of pretty. They're not, one's fresh, one's a couple months ago that I just found out, but I have some laughter stuff for you because that's the way we do it. Obviously on Culture Vulture, we always do the news. And we always talk about how shitty thing is. But then we always end it on a high note because I don't want you to sit there and leave depressed.
Although this has been a pretty news-orientated episode.
Oh, they usually are.
But I appreciate you bringing
the Ohio shit. Light. Yeah, that needs to be brought to light.
That's big. Everybody needs to look into that and just stay into that, stay involved, please.
You need to, and you really need to sit there and there's a guy who I can't believe we're going back.
He said they. He's in the conspiracies. He's woke.
No, but there's a guy who is bringing pallets of water himself as a person who's not rich. He's spending his personal money bringing water to these people. So, I mean, I'm not saying do that shit, but just spread awareness because this is a really serious thing. And
I was also told in the New York area to get chemical test strips for the rainwater that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks.
Also,
so if you don't think it's going to affect you, think again. And if you think that's wrong, test it. And if it is wrong, that's great. You have nothing to worry about. That's awesome. Your brain's fine. But if it does show chemicals, that's being rained on you. And think about how far that's going, how long that's going to go. If it spread over a couple of weeks, it took a while to get here. How far is that going to go overseas and things like that? But chemical test strips, test your rainwater. It's a fucking real
test
thing,
your fucking drinking water, especially.
Yes.
Especially your fucking drinking water.
Actually, I'm going to put a plug on real quick. Big Berkey. I have a Berkey water filters, Berkey. That's what we use. Berkey water filters. They will actually filter out bacteria and things like that. The test that you get is red dye. So you could basically put like red food coloring in your water. And if it comes out filtered and it looks even pink or anything, I mean, any sort of bit tainted, that means you didn't prime your filters right. So basically it will filter out dye, food coloring and stuff like that, but also filter out bacteria. You could basically put like, rain sludge water, whatever, and you'll get fresh water. But I use it like religiously, and I've given the water to friends before. I was at a show last summer real quick, and I gave the water to my friend. I gave him a bottle of water in like a container, and he's like, "Where did you get this water?" I was like, "It's my filters." Like, this is the best water I've ever had in my life. That's how good the water is. But anyway, Big Berkey is the size. I have Berkey water filters, Berkey, made in America, California. Berkey water filters will filter bacteria. Get that shit, put it in your house. Plenty of sizes. Do it.
Okay. I'm gonna reach out to him and see if we can get him as a sponsor now that you've said that, and I'll send that.
They probably won't care. And we probably say so many things they don't want to agree with, and the curses. But I whatever. I don't care. I'm not trying to get a sponsorship. I just want people to know that is some really good water, and it's water. It's such good water, but it's filtered very well. It tastes great, easy to do, and you could have you could have some sort of weird sickness. Like some sort of flu, and the water comes through filtered with that. It filters out.
So hold on before we go on. So actually, Rob is watching, and he said, Jimmy Carter let Willie Nelson smoke dope in the White House, hosted by many Southern rockers. That is, I didn't know that. Good for him. I don't like weed. I've never smoked it, but It's kind of fucking cool. Hey, it's not as cool though as Richard Nixon giving Elvis a fucking Secret Service badge for him to do whatever the fuck he wanted, and that's a true story. And look that shit up. I got two videos for you. One's quick, the other one I think you're really gonna like. But
do it up.
Oh, by the way, after
Actually,
this,
speaking of Willie Nelson, I got this Luca Seahorse Pro, little electric dabber. I'm gonna dab.
Hold on, before he dabs, anybody, my fucking cats have been acting out. If anybody knows any good fucking really good CBD treats for cats, please let me know, so I can CBD these motherfuckers because I've had enough. I love them. God fucking damn it.
It's gosh darn it.
It's consarn it. When am I playing these videos?
Play 'em right now.
All right.
I'm just gonna dab while you play them.
I'll play the one, and you just watch.
You cannot stick it in the ground. It's not going to work. Who did that? You got to put it in the shoe.
Did you see that or did you? Oh, fuck this guy. Fuck his stupid fucking.
What the fuck happened?
I'm gonna replay it for you one more time. I'm gonna skip his logo because fuck that guy.
I saw a lot, but I didn't see like what initially started it.
You can see it, right?
It's going to be right there. You cannot stick it in the ground. It's not going to work. Who did that? You got to put it in the shoe.
Is this like a 4th of July thing where they just had it stored?
Yeah. So I think what happened is they lit the initial mortar off, the spark hit the other fireworks and it went off. But that came up on Twitter today, and I could not stop laughing because I'm
So
like, you
I don't
fuckers.
I don't disagree with people having fireworks, but I feel like once you get to a certain stature, a certain level of firework, like it's like I think there's like 500 gram or whatever they are, the repeaters. Once you get to a certain level, you need an education, you need a class, whatever it is.
Hello there, Steven.
You need to know how to handle that. So I just think I'm not against fireworks. A lot of people are. I don't think that should be banned. I just think that people need a bigger education on what you're dealing with. A 500 gram repeater is a very big firework. That's a lot of shots. That's a lot of nicotine. That's a lot of nicotine. That's a lot of power. It's a lot of gunpowder, man. You're just asking for trouble if you don't know what you're doing.
Dude, I think I said this last episode with you. I literally stopped playing with fireworks the second I learned I can do a really good scale run. I'm not saying I'm good at guitar. I'm not. But the second I really started getting into guitar and piano, I was like,
valuing your fingers and your knowing when to call your limit. Like I'll do certain things. Like I'll go certain heights because I value my life, but also, like you said, I'll do certain things with my fingers. Like, oh, you want a table saw? Maybe I'll ask somebody to do it. I'll pay for the money, but just knowing your limits.
You know, speaking of table saws, like before we move on from that, you remember Grandpa had his fingertips missing, right?
Yep.
Did I ever tell you what he told me?
2.5 fingers.
Yeah, did I ever tell you what he told me?
Fingers, just the halves of fingers.
Yeah, he had Tony Iommi syndrome. I asked him one day when I was really little. I think we were leaving Christmas. This is like 98, 99. So I'm like really little. And I was like, Grandpa, how'd you lose your fingers? And he looks at me and he's like, I was picking my nose in bed and I rolled off the bed and my fingers got jammed. They had to cut them off. I'm not even joking. The day, this is a real story. So the day this is when he passed. This is 2007. So you're talking almost 10 years later. And I'm 16 years old. I remember being like, I'm looking at Mom and I'm like, it's really tragic what happened to his hand. And she's like, what are you talking about? I was like, he picked his nose and he fell off and his fingers got jammed. They cut him off. And she looks at me and she goes, are you retarded? No, he lost them at Cold Spring Harbor. He was using a table saw and there's something slipped and his fingers got cut off. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you believe that? She's like, he told you that to not pick your nose because you were little. And I was like, fuck, man. I'm like, I didn't, God damn it. I didn't know
He was
that.
laughing behind the grave.
Yeah, he was like, what a fucking idiot. But before we go, I got one more video for you because like we always, like I said, we end on the feel good thing. And last stream was great because we sat there, we ended off
feel good thing.
Not that, no, I have a video, but last stream we did a bunch of
kind of. You don't pick your nose anymore, right?
last episode last episode we ended on a bunch of things about animals. So we talked about Dog Actor 30, which was fucking awesome. I ended up finding this today, and I think you might like this.
Yeah, how cute is he? Giving me kisses.
God, her fucking audio is terrible. Her audio is garbage. I'm sorry.
Always the case.
Yeah, how cute is he? Giving me kisses right now. He was ready for TV. But yeah, he is safe. He is okay. Doesn't even have a scratch on him. And that is thanks to his owner who fought the bobcat off.
He got away lucky.
Coda is one lucky dog. Paul Broadhurst was walking his daughter's dog Saturday morning when he says a bobcat came out of the woods and attacked them. How was the bobcat on Coda here?
As he was walking down the sidewalk here, that bobcat come out and just right over top of him. And like I said, he no sooner got there, and I ripped him off.
Broadhurst jumped into action and saved Coda. He has scratches to prove it.
The bobcat, and he clawed into me pretty good. And I end up actually having to punch the bobcat in the mouth to get it off of me. And then got it back, got it on the ground, and it took off into the tree line.
Broadhurst lives in the Stony Brook neighborhood in Orlando. His home is right next to a conservation area. Frank Robb with ears.org, an environmental and education awareness nonprofit, says scary encounters like this are happening more often.
When homes get built, these wild...
I'm not going to watch this fucking dude tell me what's going on. I already know that we're encroaching on their land. I'm not stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
But that is so fucking cool to just be like,
I punch it in its mouth, you know.
Yeah,
it's like
it's like that. Remember the video? Have you ever seen the video of the guy punching the kangaroo holding his dog?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That dude is bad. And by the way, people call for that dude to be killed for punching a kangaroo. And it's like,
I'm not gonna lie, those kangaroos are pretty intimidating. They're pretty jacked, and they're jacked like the way that like a dude at a drunk bar fight would be jacked. You know,
most delicious meat I've ever eaten is kangaroo.
Yeah, that's that bar fight meat that you like.
Yeah, it was good.
So that maybe you would like the meat of a person that you fight in the bar. Next time you see somebody that's just going,
I fight it, dude, and I'm like, let me suck your fucking cock.
You need to knock him out and slice him up, and tell me how that meat is. I also think this is a good note to end on because it's pretty fucking.
Yeah, this is getting dark really fucking quick.
Let's end on that. Too.
Am I calling you after
Cheers,
this? Or you
everybody.
going to sleep?
Hit me up, brother man.
Cool. So let's end.
We're gonna call everybody. So if you want to get called, let us know. We'll call you
I
right
just
now.
want to know if everybody's ready to fucking Wang Chung tonight. No, but
well, everybody's also working for the weekend, so that's take that into consideration. Shut the fuck up. Also, Rob, thanks for listening.
Hey, yeah, my
Thanks for
manager
your service,
Rob.
too.
If you're still watching, dude, I messaged you on Facebook. I don't know or if you still use it, but
And on he messaged you on Meet the Rob.
But I hope you're doing well, dude, and hit me back up. DM me on Facebook, Rob. I give you my new number and all that shit because you're probably the best manager I had.
Good night,
this
everybody.
was Culture Vulture Radio Saturday Night Edition. I'm glad that we went over the Palestine, East Palestine. Sorry, not that country.
Look into it.
Look into the fucking carcinogens and all this shit.
It's gonna affect you in some way. Don't think it's not gonna. Also, it doesn't affect you. It affects your brother man over in another state. It's not like another country.
It's not even that.
It's your own country.
It's your country, people. Look into it.
Yeah.
Like this is some serious shit that's going on.
Except Missouri. I'll be in my cold grave before I recognize Missouri.
Grandpa, why are there 49 stars? I'll be my cold hearted. Oh, I do a good Homer impression, which is what was it?
Well,
I'm taking March
being
to go
said,
see
you also
the
do a good
fucking
homo
thing.
impression, so
And, yeah.
and you've been doing it the whole time, so
The whole
thanks for
fucking
that.
time. But
yeah.
I
Good night,
hope
everybody.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. Like it, subscribe it, share it out there. Tune in next Friday for probably about 8 p.m. It kind of varies with the way I'm working, but about 8 and 9 p.m. to watch the IRL deep dives. So obviously, we just did Gucci's. We're going to go into RV8 and all that stuff with Giselle. And then obviously,
if you guys into some freaky, fucked up shit, tune in next Friday.
Yeah.
If
you're
that's
a normie,
what we're talking about. You guys are getting freaky. You want to have a good Friday. You want to get wild and unwind. Watch this thing next Friday.
And obviously, Saturday we have the main show. So you and I, we're going to collect. And listen, if you have any weird fucking news you want to talk about or you want us to discuss our opinion, which I don't think our opinions are valid, just send it
and
to
even
me.
during, like the way Rob, told us in between, but talking to him throughout. So you have something cool to interact with. You have some input on the story we're talking about. Please let us know. Please don't hesitate. Interact.
Absolutely. And the most important thing is like and subscribe this podcast. Like and subscribe this YouTube channel. Share it out there. Help us out. I really hope that all of you enjoy your Sunday. I hope you do your research on the East Palestine thing. Live in front of your naked, steaming ears from Bum City. I, of course, am Connor, and this was Shawnee Boy. We have been Culture Vulture Radio. I thank you for coming in and tuning in for the night.
Thanks, everybody.
And now get the fuck out.